Good morning. Welcome to my little kitchen. A friend of mine recently challenged me to do a sermon while cooking. I accept the challenge. So today we're going to have fish for breakfast. And why not? Jesus did. John, who always tells the best stories, tells us how it happened. It's a few weeks after that first Easter. Jesus has appeared to his disciples several times, but he always just disappears, slips right through their fingers, and they just don't know what to do. They're scared, they're anxious, they're confused, they're believing one day, doubting the next, afraid to go out in public, isolating at home, until Peter can't take it anymore. Imagine him sitting in the window, maybe looking down at the street below, maybe a little depressed. What's he going to do now? They left everything and followed Jesus. What does he have to go back to? Maybe he catches a little whiff of the sea and he starts thinking back to that first time that he met Jesus. They'd fished all night, which was the best time of day to fish the Sea of Galilee, but they had nothing to show for it. They were tired. They just wanted to wash the nets and go home. But up walks Jesus, fresh as a daisy from a good night's sleep, and he's fired up like a preacher and he needs a pulpit. So he gets in with Peter, tells him to put out a little way, and preaches to the crowd on the beach. And when he's done, he tells Peter, let's go back out and catch some fish. Well, it's a dumb idea. Wrong time of day, but hey, it's Jesus. It's easier to humor him than argue with him. So Simon does it. And they haul in the second biggest catch of Peter's life, which is too much for Peter, who falls on his knees and begs not to follow Jesus, but for Jesus to just go away and leave him alone. He didn't need this disruption in his life, and he screams out one of the best prayers in the Bible. Go away from me, Lord, for I am a sinful man. Never one to take no for an answer. Jesus just says, don't be afraid. From now on, you're going to be catching people. So I found this lovely fish. I'm going to show it to you here. And let's see if we can get this over here. This is an amateur cooking show, so yeah, we're gonna. There. I think you got it. There's the fish. This is the fish right here. Lovely whole tilapia, and we've got a little bit of turmeric paste here. It's got a lot of turmeric and some crushed cilantro stems, a little bit of basil, some white pepper, lots of garlic. And we're going to take this and we've scored the fish a little bit so we can get some of that down inside there. We're going to rub this all over the fish. And whatever we do there, put it on there. And like I said, this is an amateur cooking show. We're going to get all that stuff on. I don't want to waste any of it. So we're going to, yeah. Oh, it really smells good. Yeah, that's good. And we've got a little fresh thyme here. Just thyme because that's what was left in the kitchen. And we're going to stuff that inside. We've got some fresh, thin sliced limes in there. And yeah, and put it in the oven. See you in a second. So, Simon Peter, sitting in that window, life disrupted once again, pensive on a sea breeze, out of the blue announces, I'm going fishing. And he grabs his stuff and heads for the door. I mean, what else is he going to do? Fishing is all he's ever known. And the sea has always been his solitude. 4 or 5 of the other disciples chime in. Wait, I'll go. Me too. I'm in. Let me grab my sunscreen. And off they go. And they do it. They fish. They just go fishing. And they fail. They utterly fail. They fish all night long and they don't catch a thing. Nothing. Just after daybreak, the worst thing that can happen to a luckless angler happens. There's some guy on the shore who's calling out, wondering if they caught anything. I hate that. And worse, he starts offering advice. Throw the net on the right side of the boat, he says. Left, right. What difference does it make? But easier to humor him. And they haul in the biggest catch of Simon Peter's life. Impetuous Peter just drops everything, jumps into the sea, leaves all the work to the others, and swims for Jesus. He's not going to let him get away this time. He wants answers. He wants promises. He wants Jesus. Jesus, who always did like a good meal, has a fire going, and he says, probably like he said many a time before, you guys sit back. I'll do the cooking this morning. Fish for breakfast. But for Peter, it's got to be the hardest meal he's ever had to swallow. The man he denied 3 times is feeding him. And in that quiet moment, you know, when everybody else pushes back from the table, full and satisfied and satiated, Jesus turns to Peter and he says, Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these? Does he even look up when Peter answers, yes, Lord, you know that I love you. Feed my sheep, Jesus says. A second time Jesus asks, do you love me? Yes, Lord, just drop it. Tend my sheep, Jesus says. A third time, do you love me? How can there not be tears in Simon Peter's eyes when Peter stammers, Lord, you know everything. You know that I love you. Follow me, Jesus says. I love that the resurrected Christ keeps hunting down these hapless, discouraged disciples and feeds them and sends them. You know, sometimes I think that all too often, maybe especially these days, we think our mission is to hold worship services for ourselves. It is not. Worship feeds us. We're so hungry for it. We long to be with each other and to taste again God with us, God for us. But worship is not our mission. That's why we spend so little time in it, an hour or so, and then we kick everybody out. Go in peace, serve the Lord, we say. Remember the poor, share the good news. The resurrected Christ sends us out into the world where we live most of our lives to love and serve our neighbor. What James calls religion, pure and undefiled. And that's our mission. Feed my sheep. Feed my hungry ones. Be a blessing to my poor and a thorn in the side of the rich and the powerful. Love and forgive. Learn patience and grace with the faults of others and the failures of your own. Make kindness a way of life. And if ever you get a chance, preach the good news of a God who longs to feed us as much as we long to be fed. Fish for people, always remembering that they are not trophies, they are God's beloved. Let's see how that fish is doing. Yeah. Oh, it smells great. Smells great. I don't know, can you see that? Let's see if I can hold it up without dropping it. Yeah. There it is. all ready to go. We're going to serve that up, a little coconut rice, maybe a little something green, some fresh fruit. It's going to be delicious.